All right, we're going to get on to our next question, which is on the plan announced by President Obama on Tuesday to close the U.S. military prison in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. The president is proposing to transfer Gitmo's most dangerous terrorist detainees to a facility inside the United States. Carolyn Gibbs, what's your question for the senator?
Senator Rubio, President Obama this week announced that he wanted to close Gitmo. Would you close Gitmo, and if so, what would become of the facility, and how would you transfer these hardened war criminals to the U.S. soil without them having U.S. civil rights?
Yeah, a couple points. It's a great question. Number one is Gitmo is not just a prison for radical terrorists. It is also an important naval facility, and we're keeping it. Number two, we shouldn't be transferring people out of there. A substantial number of them, once released, are rejoining the battlefield against us. In fact, this week, Spanish police arrested a former Gitmo detainee who was plotting terrorism. Number three, when I am president, we're actually going to be taking people there, not taking people out. When I'm president, we are going to have a real war on terror, which means our armed forces will destroy them. And if we capture any of these terrorists alive, we're taking them to Guantanamo. And that's where they belong. They are enemy combatants in a war against America. They should not be released so they can rejoin the battle against us.
All right, let me follow up on that with you, Senator, though. What about interrogation of terrorists who we capture on the battlefield? Because back during the Bush administration, they didn't necessarily go to Gitmo. They went to CIA black sites, and they were subjected in some cases, some limited cases, to enhanced interrogation techniques. So what would a President Rubio administration do when we capture a dangerous terrorist who we want to interrogate?
Well, first of all, I never talk about interrogation techniques because it gives the terrorists the opportunity to train to evade them. Number two, let me say this, though. I believe we are capable we have the capability of gathering information without having to do some of the things that people feel offended by. And number three, interrogating a terrorist is not the same as a law enforcement interrogation. In a law enforcement interrogation, you're trying to acquire evidence to use at trial. In a terrorism interrogation, you are trying to acquire information to prevent a terrorist attack in the future. And so you can't always use the exact same tactics, because this is not about evidence to put someone in jail. This is about evidence and information to prevent a future terrorist attack.